We'll start with projects. Start with probably the biggest one of recent anyway, the last week or so, Central C, Wild West. How are we feeling about this project, man? Just straight into it. Like, did you rate it? Did you rate the project?
I rate it highly.
Yeah?
I rate it highly.
So it met your expectations?
I listen to it every day.
Like that?
Oh, say words.
I've been it's on my phone right now, man.
Look at the orange. I saw look at the orange.
It's there, bro.
Look at the orange.
I bang it out, man. I'm a
Okay.
man of substance, innit? So whatever he's talking about, I relate to it. You know what I'm
So you
saying?
feel like he's got bare substance in his
Bare
bars?
substance, you know what I'm saying?
That's so important.
Brands, people
That's so
taking them in.
important.
You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff, man.
He definitely talks on some real, like, you can tell he's consistent with what he says about his struggle and his story.
Yeah.
So I hear you. There's some substance there. What do you feel about the critique that I've heard, and I also kind of relate to and resonates with me, that it sounds a bit samey?
Yeah, I completely get it.
Yeah?
I understand it. Some records do sound the same, but at the same time, to me, it's just lit, man. You know what I
Okay.
mean? That's what I'm generally just
Yeah,
taking
you
in.
know what? I got to this point with a couple listens, and as some time passed, where I was like, okay, maybe I was harsh on the rating, innit? Because you know me, I'm very honest. I would have definitely said it already. Like, I put it out there. I was like, oh, this is 7 out of 10. It's an average vocally. I immediately said the producers deserve a round of applause because beat for beat, it was insane. Like, obviously, he's got a good ear. I didn't want that to be the main reason why the project isn't good. Obviously, you get a tone from Sench, and it's like, obviously, it feels average in it, but it's like you said, you'd have to take into account what he's saying. The fact that, on a mixtape, I'm not really expecting variance. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you do, I'm happy at that point. But
Would you not say a mixtape is the place to show variance?
do you know what? Funnily enough, that's not how my mindset is screwed on. Just because of how we've lived through music, and every time I get a mixtape, and what is defined in my head is a project with beats, and a man is just going ham on beats.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
I hear you.
That's how it is for me.
I expect variation more on an album than I do on a mixtape. I
every
hear you on
time-
that.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, you mentioned the producers and you were bigging up the production. I feel like there was a lack of there were some beats that are quite, even down to the production. There are 3 or 4 songs where there's like this harpy like instrument in the back.
oh, you
and
felt like they were the same?
I thought like even
but
some of the
3
beats
or
were very
4 out of
samey. Like,
14
I can tell he
is
likes a
small,
certain
though.
type of beat. Well, to be honest,
That's true, because 3 or 4 out of 14 is quite small.
you think so? Because
Yeah, it's not a lot.
I mean, the beat sound, 3 or 4 beats to sound similar. To me, if 2 beats sound similar, it's like, that's okay, but it's already a flag. Like, if there's 3 or 4 that I can actually group together and they all
Oh, you think
sound...
it's a problem?
I don't think, it's not necessarily a problem, but it ruins like my enjoyment of the
okay,
mixtape
fair
a
enough.
little.
That's the first
Because
for me,
I'm probably gonna pick my favorite song out of them 4 if the beat sounds that
that's
similar.
the first for me, you know. Yeah,
But like,
okay.
don't get twisted, because to be fair, there is some range in the production as well. He used a lot of samples.
Hard samples,
And I actually preferred that some of them samples took him out of, like, I like the storytelling song. I think it's Ruby, the Cold as Ice sample. That's one of my standouts. I feel like he didn't do that as much. I wish he stepped out a bit. No, I think he did it justice. I just wish he did that a bit more. I think that took him somewhere, and that storytelling thing was
And
nice.
you know what?
Like,
The mixtape was the place for him to do that.
and there you go. And that kind of does speak to Boller's point in a sense.
Yeah,
like,
the
so-
mixtape is the place for him to do that, because I don't think we'll get this. I just feel like he has nothing to prove to people that are going, it's not hard, because he's cold. He's gonna.
He's gone. He's clear, by the
Sench,
way.
Big up you, because I know you're probably gonna chart roll this. But your rollout's
Trust
been
me,
crazy.
trust
Big up
me.
Bait Agency, but it's
Big
like
up Century London as well.
Century. Oh yeah. Every time, man. But I just think, he has nothing to prove. But I would not be surprised if, let's say, the day he does do an album, we might not get this whole sound we got on the mixtape again.
I don't think we will get it. I think
Do you know what I
even
mean?
with this project, I think he gave the people kind of what they wanted to hear.
100%, yeah.
Like, from Day in the Life onwards, he just, I don't know, man. I think he just tried to get lit with this project, man.
I hear you.
I genuinely-
Do you think he's touched A Day in the Life again?
What do you mean?
In terms of quality? Because to me, that's one of my favorite songs from
Has
him.
a track
if
come
not the
close.
favorite.
Oh yeah,
You
if
see
that's
with- You see with Central, I'm looking at everything. For example, like the marketing, the videos, and all of that stuff. That adds to like how I'm listening to the music.
Okay,
as well,
yeah,
if that
yeah.
makes sense. But Another Day in the Life, I'm not too sure, man.
Because that, to me, that song is special for him.
Yeah,
I mean, Loading is hard too. Loading has like a massive appeal that's different. It kind of extends itself past drill, which kind of brings on to the question, like, is like when we have these conversations about drill artists, Central C's name doesn't come up as much. He's definitely big time, like you said. He's a huge artist, but his sound isn't really necessarily properly drill. If we're talking about production, it is. But like, and I think that's enough to qualify it as drill technically, but like, he doesn't land in these conversations. Why? If he's so big?
Yeah.
There's something about the sound he's making that doesn't quite align. I lie? Or not?
It's hard. It's actually difficult, because it's crazy, because I can't come on here and say he ain't been around for time because he's been around for time.
I saw that old video of him spitting on Link Up. Bro,
do you get it?
he's
But
been
this
mashing.
sound that he's come with Day in a Life into this is obviously, to me, is fresh for him, because like I said, he had the old school rap like you were saying, and then even when I said like to you lot earlier before, Running Man was like wave. He was doing auto-tune wave, like he was doing auto-tune wave, and we heard some of that in the mixtape. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Not to the extent of his old.
I wish I had though. I didn't even know he really had that in his bag.
This is the stuff we may hear. We may hear this in like albums. You know, now he's got a more mature voice, because obviously back then his voice wasn't as matured. If you listen to it and whatnot, but. Yeah, I find it hard to say like duration wise, because there's other guys that have obviously been in a certain sound, you know, the drill sound for a long time, and then I feel like he's found it and done what he can with it, and he's booming with it now. He's booming with it now. It's hard to put him in the convos, but his results are crazy. So it's like if people want to, it's not gonna make me angry. Do you know what
personally, I don't even see Loading as like a drill song like that.
Nah,
it might be a drill song technically. I don't know, but like it sounds like some flamenco tune or something.
Well, I mean, people always raise questions when you get those kind of instrumentation of drill. Like when you use them instruments that aren't commonly used in drill, people like there are questions raised about how much drill this
like,
is.
Obviously, hybrids have been a thing for like the past year or two now.
Yeah,
and
facts.
that's okay. But like, I feel like, and that song in particular, like, it's kind of dominated by the sample.
I think it's also to do with his sound a little bit. Like, I don't know what he does on the records. It's not that he's
using drill flows.
He is, and he's even the substance, like the content, even like it's drill related stuff, but it doesn't hit the same necessarily.
But it's like Selector was saying, like everything he says is so relatable, because you know, obviously, people, we have all our critiques, and maybe not my critique specifically, but some other critique about, you know, people. He says it, you know, he's worked so hard for it for so long. Yeah. It's something normal people can relate to once they get to a place, or if they're currently trying to get to a place. So he's got lyrics that can relate to. You don't have to live a certain lifestyle. It's like we can all relate to it. Do you know what I mean? Right. All that stuff works for me. If we're talking this mixtape, for example, though, I feel like vocally, I don't get bored, but it's like, oh shit, I wish there was more. But then at the same time, it's like, this is what I expected from man, and he excelled the expectation, if that makes sense. No matter how I felt about how samey it was in terms of him vocally, he excelled the expectation.
So Sorry, can I ask you guys a question? Slight side note, not really. Because you have brought up like his content and all that kind of stuff like, quite a few times now. I'm not that familiar with Central C. I haven't listened to the album yet. He hasn't really like been sold for me. Okay. So when you talk about his content, like what is it that he's talking about exactly? Like who is he?
Just like, for example, people taking him in, like him taking time to get to where he is, if that makes sense. Constantly, like he mentions one bar, like his boy having to go house with him for one of his studio sessions. Do you know what I mean? And that's a lot of thing. A lot of artists relate to it. Artists can be rapping about having this amount of money, but if you're really behind the scenes, a lot of artists don't have that type of money. A lot of their boys are probably sponsoring their studio sessions and these type of things. You know what I'm trying to say? It's easy to look good in a music video, but no one knows what's going on behind the scenes.
So you feel like he's honest and he's coming for the whole grind.
Yeah, this is the thing. He's speaking a lot about the lifestyle he lives, and that he obviously, you know, had to do doing certain things that your normal rapper would say, but then it's also still incorporating the normal stuff, like, you know, it's I've been doing this for a long time. Like, you lot just let me have this because I've actually been working. Whether it's just the music or people, like you said, not seeing what's going on behind the scenes and then putting a shift in. That's why I feel like I like him in that sense, because it's another example for us as people and just everyone really, that, you know, if you keep doing your thing.
He was sort of screaming like, I deserve this.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I like.
You said honesty, and I think that probably resonates with me a lot. I feel like he's someone that is quite honest. It seems like he's quite honest in his raps. Like when he speaks on things, it seems like he's not trying to inflate it for perception. And it's not that he gets real into detail, but like even on Loading, like Central C don't be on the roads too tough. Like it's like he's not, you know, he's not trying to tell you that he's there now. Like he's told you I'm chilling on some of this shit now. I think
he's
like,
mad transparent.
There's a transparency that there seems to be with him. I feel like, so like he's not trying to sell you an image now because he's made it that, I must keep talking like I'm still there.
The visuals may look like it, but I feel like it's a thing where, you know, when you've gone through the struggle, you've been stressed, now you've got it, let me enjoy it. That's the vibe I get from his visuals and when he's doing that.
That sounds like a good message for the youth though.
Exactly.
That's the vibe.
And he even talks about being hypocritical and 6 for 6 and that, like, do you know what I mean? Like there's an honesty, there's definitely an honesty to Central C that I can't take away from him. So I do hear that. I do hear that. Anything else to say on Central C? Wild Wild West or Wild Wild West? Show my age, Wild West.
I've got a question. Like, if, for example, when he announced this project, what did you think was going to be on it though?
Oh, I remember actually, because I remember tweeting, like, I think he put a Insta story out saying, "Oh, this is." I don't know if he put all the songs and whatever, the track list, and then he slapped it out. What did I expect? I didn't know. That was the thing. I was like, I've heard C in the same style now for I think 3 hits in a row that haven't missed. Okay. So I was thinking, my thing was more, I'm seeing snippets from some producers that actually big up C Beats. I think she had a snippet out, and obviously I don't think that song was on the tape. But I'm hearing different things, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know what to expect. This is what I was more excited about what I was gonna get. But obviously, in my eyes and ears, I got the C we already know kind of thing. I don't think there was any surprises, but I think I was kind of amazed at how, with no features and the quality of the production he put on, that he still showed the way he did. But I don't think I wish I expected something, but I didn't know what to expect either. This is the thing,
Let me ask you a question. Obviously, like, so you're saying that he's been out for a long time, but I guess with how things are categorized, he'll still be going down as like a new artist.
100%.
So like, where do you reckon he ranks right now currently, and like, where do you see him? How far do you see him going in the future?
Ooh. He's a weird outlier for me, you know, because like a song like Loading, when you can make a song like Loading, it puts you in a different kind of space. Like,
so is he H or is he a bit more gullier than that?
He's a bit gullier than H, I'd say.
It's crazy, you know, when you ask that, because like you've asked that, and I'm thinking of bare different people. Let me give you an example. Like, I'll answer C's thing, but let me give you an example. We have Pot Paper, who has released 3 mixtapes over the course of like 7 years. Just rapping, just pure rapping.
Is he more than that?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, do you know what I mean? You have his trilogy, then you have like other tapes, and you have other stuff with scraps. You have the tape with the white and black cover. I don't know. I'm going blank on the name. But
Something versus the world.
Yeah, that's it. He's got a lot. But then he's got the track with NSG, the drunk guitar feature.
Not too sure about that.
That was a funny placement.
But this is the thing. He kept his same flow and whatever, but it didn't sound bad.
Didn't sound bad.
But he didn't change how he sounded. Now, this is the thing for me. Yeah, I feel like C can be the same guy. I feel like with the route he's going and the fans he has. Obviously, we're recording this on, I think, like the Wednesday of we're gonna find out where he charts at the end of the week.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah.
So he gets these numbers or whatever happens. I think he's going to be in a spot where he can do tracks with a lot of people that we might not expect. He might not have to change vocally, but again, we know he's done the auto-tune thing. He can do things. For now, I don't know where to rank him, but I feel like we're going to rank him high if he lands in a good spot and because he's going to have that accessibility to a lot of people. I
was going to say, do you agree with that in terms of like where he ranks where he lands even this week with the successful Wild West?
That's going to determine a lot.
Does that tell, that must indicate something to you in terms of where he's at?
I think it does. It shows potential and like where he's at currently. I don't know if
it's not going to define him.
Defines his ranking.
It doesn't cement him.
There's a lot of men out there that have put out a lot more than him.
Yeah.
So like, is he going to take their spot just because he dropped one thing? I don't know.
Yeah, true.
No, true.
Plus, I think the resonance he's got with the singles that he's dropped is something. And by the way, not saying that people ain't going to stream up the project. He's got a following, but I feel like when he drops them singles in isolation, that's when you really see his power. I feel like that's when and I think that's even musically you see people running it up. Like when Loading dropped, it was big. And I wasn't really listening to Central C like that apart from Day in the Life. And then Loading came, I was like, nah, this song's a bit hard.
And Loading's obviously also going to push up the charts. You know?
1,000%.
Do you know what my thing is with him? Yeah, I feel like he's going to get a good chart spot, hopefully. And if he does, I feel like he has a good team around him. I feel like he's always going to make the music he wants, but immediately I feel like he's going to be thinking about the future.
You can't use the same formula though.
He's going to be thinking about the future. And this is where I think that's when we will know how to cement him, because when he gets all that, I think he'll enjoy his time and whatever, like after the charting and whatever. But immediately I think he's going to think, okay, how do I now keep this going without losing people? Because believe it or not, it is the fans that make you. Like, obviously we can master the fans that make you.
That's a great question, but do you feel like you know who the real Central C is? Because like, obviously you talked about how he switched styles a few times now.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. He has something that works, so it's like, don't fix what's not broken. But at the same time, we just said it. Like, if he
might not even know himself.
He definitely doesn't, and that shows lack of variation on this project. Drill's worked, and he kind of just went straight at
Drill is what's popping right now. So he's just riding waves. Before that, it was the auto-tuning. That was the wave right there. I don't know, bro.
Do you know it's hard? That's a very...
He's young though, isn't it? So
that's a solid question. I feel like when an artist does certain sounds, they defo was enjoying it at the time, because you got to remember, my word is terrible, but you haven't like got anywhere. Do you get? So you're definitely doing it more because you enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like even now, like he did Day in a Life and he didn't know where that was gonna take him. Obviously, he just did what he did. So obviously, he found that sound and was like, you know, I want to do this. It's gone well. Things that you know this more than anyone. Like certain tracks get recorded way before time. Sometimes they're just sat there and they get. We don't even know when Day in the Life and Loading and some of these things are recorded. So imagine this is what I'm saying. Like he might actually just have stuff where he might have sounds that he might. It's crazy when you actually think of it from the production and being in the studio and how things actually work. A lot of these tracks, funny enough, are made some time ago. So it's like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what the real Central C is, but I trust him though. I feel like he will always put out what he enjoys. But I don't know what to expect. Do you know what I mean? Like
I think I trust him even more in the sense that like he seems to have like an ear for making songs that will have an appeal, like kind of beyond a certain, like you see how you say you don't know who the Central C is. I don't think he cares for you to know necessarily right now. Like I think like you said, Joe, not that he's chasing a wave with Joe, but like he made what he enjoyed and it worked, but he's happy to make other things. Like you said, he's jumped on things in his career and I can see him jumping again. So, and I kind of trust him in that. I feel like he'll find his feet in another sound, but whether he becomes one of them a purely kind of like whether you get a sense of his identity or not, maybe not. Maybe he's one of them big artists that makes big songs.
Obviously, like what we're talking about right now is the music business. Like,
true.
These men are out here to make peas. And obviously, like he's a new artist just starting. I'm not putting against him that he's riding waves or whatever.
No.
Making music that has mass appeal.
Yeah.
But like, if he's gonna be someone that lasts a long time, you actually have to show like the real you. And actually show, you know what I mean? The only real music is actually gonna last. Like, I don't know if Loading's
only real music gonna last. All of bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow.
It's gone long gone.
But do you know what's mad though?
Bear man, can't hear from Bear man.
No, I agree. But some men are better at hanging around doing that than others though. And I only say that to say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's someone that could do that. That doesn't have to necessarily define himself like that. I think Central C could make big songs for a minute without you thinking, I know who Central C is. I stick to this genre. Like,
the kids are gonna fuck with it.
I understand. No, but I understand what you're saying.
Really vibe with your point. The only crazy thing is, it's like you said, this is the business. Once you have a fan base, some people are gonna just ride with whatever you do, man.
There's that element of it too.
That thing is so huge that I don't think people understand it. Like
that is the whole GRM culture we're in.
It's honestly that. I think some people could put out certain things, and again, you have a fan base that just supports what you do. You're gonna be okay, like whatever you do. Like, I don't think he can get to a stage where he drops something left field and he loses people at this point. I don't know, man.
I mean, like, this is his day one, year one, whatever. Let's see in year 3.
Yeah. Now you can always lose people. You could always lose people.
In the UK.